KSHB 41 News starts now.
Now at 6:30, a family is grieving the loss of a teenage boy killed at a Kansas City, Missouri middle school. Today, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum unveiled a new display with an interesting history. Check this out. This is the before image, and this is the after. Now, the city manager says that one officer was paid for 2,800 hours of overtime to do this painting and carpentry, not for police work.
A few hours of people coming together and cleaning.
Well, shot froze up, but you get the message, folks. Basically, a community that right now is hurting from last night, now starting to come together. The images that we saw from Ray's report of people now starting to pick up, and that's the true spirit of Kansas City. But the enforcement, first of all, this will be enforced.
Yes.
We've heard you talk about that. How? How will you do it? What the stay-at-home order means for all of us. A couple of notes I was taking during this press conference and some of the questions that were being answered. Officials talked about a number of things, including local issues with a shortage on ventilators and also some local problems with not enough test kits for COVID-19. We're back on that wild roller coaster from 80s to, what was it, 40s, 50s?
80s to 30s today.
30s.
It was 30s this afternoon. And it's a continuation of the ride. We have been on this ride for a long time.
For a while now.
And it was free. It was a free ride.
I'm going to get off. Yeah, me too. As the search for Kansas City's new police chief begins, a coalition of local organizations wants to ensure the community's input is heard.
KSHB 41 News anchor Bryant Maddrick is there. Bryant, I mean, it was really powerful for us to both experience. What's it been like for you?
You know, equally powerful. I mean, this is my first time here, and a lot of the images, you know, you hear the stories in history books, but it's completely different when you see it with your own eyes and when you hear the stories as well. All of that history inside of this building. An epidemiologist with the Johnson County Health Department thinks cases are being undercounted due to the widespread use of at-home tests. The county has seen clusters of cases at daycare, schools, and workplaces. The county health experts suggest that you wear a mask if you're in a large venue or if you're at high risk of contracting COVID-19. But this also raises the question, how does Johnson County compare to the rest of the metro? Well, in eastern Jackson County, the positivity rate was above 3% on April 3rd, which is the most recent data provided by the county. Meanwhile, in Wyandotte County, the 7-day average of positive tests is 3.4%. That rate dipped below 1.5% in mid-March. Eric DeValcanair went from decorated officer to convicted felon. Today, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Just go to our website on the web link section. Click on May 13th on this link here. Some information from the Department of Health and Human Services gives you a page where you could actually find other resources. Once again, this is on our website, kshb.com/weblinks.
KSHB 41 News starts now.
Russian attacks in Ukraine go further west, closer to the Polish border. Hear what President Biden's warning is to Russia. But first tonight, this Women's History Month, we're learning more about the impact women have right here in our community. Today, women show their support at an event featuring women-owned businesses. And tonight, KSHB 41 News reporter Jian Kim shows us the obstacles business owners have to overcome to get to this point. We're not done telling these great stories. Coming up this week on KSHB 41 News, learn more about the organization that put on today's shopping event. It's called Innovate Her. You'll see how it's brought together women business owners and how they're using that connection to make an impact. You know, it's nice to see the sun today, Wes. Just wish those temperatures were a little more warmer. 3 massive explosions lead to these flames and black smoke in western Ukraine. Authorities reported the explosions and told residents to take cover. This happened in an area where many refugees have fled in order to stay in their country. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in Lviv with the latest. Gabe Gutierrez reporting. An update tonight after a Kansas City, Kansas firefighter fell through a roof while on the job yesterday. Fire department says that firefighter had surgery yesterday and it was successful, though he will need multiple follow-up surgeries in the next few weeks for his arms and leg. Spokesperson says the firefighter fell 25 feet to the ground. This happened near South 55th Street and Kansas Avenue. He was on the roof helping police investigate after another person fell through earlier. As of yesterday, that person was in serious condition at the hospital. KSHB 41 is still continuing to work to get you an update. Well, the Elite Eight officially underway in KU. One of the 8 remaining teams, Houston and Villanova, playing right now. Arkansas and Duke will face off later tonight. And Jayhawk fans will have to wait until tomorrow to see KU face Miami. Comes after the team's exciting win over Providence, but now the team looking ahead to what's next. Let's go live to Chicago, where the Elite Eight game will tip off tomorrow afternoon. That's where we find our sports reporter Aaron Ladd with the latest on KU's preparations for this chance to go to the Final Four.
You're watching KSHB 41 News.
Well, efforts are underway right now in Jeff City to hopefully one day allow Missourians to be able to legally bet on things like the NCAA tournament. I spoke with state lawmakers to learn the action they're taking right now to make that a possibility. This week, the Kansas City, Missouri City Council finalized a $1.9 billion budget for the upcoming fiscal year. That budget includes funding for the police department. Now, the department will receive $269 million plus an additional $33 million. That additional funding will go towards staffing, salary raises, and violence prevention. Meanwhile, the city budget also covers repairing about 300 miles of roads, $2 million to demolish dangerous buildings, raising salaries for city employees, an extra $600,000 on litter cleanup, and setting up a new program called Rebuild KC that will provide grants for neighborhood improvements like fixing sidewalks, creating jobs, and improving housing. We also now know exactly when Kansas City, Missouri Police Chief Rick Smith will retire. He announced his final day with the department will be April 22nd. Chief Smith released a statement saying, in part, quote, "It has been my greatest professional honor to serve as Chief of Police of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. I started here in 1987 as a young police officer from Minnesota. I got married here, I raised a family here, and I will retire here in less than a month as a proud Kansas Citian," end of quote. After the retirement announcement, the Board of Police Commissioners appointed an interim chief. His name, Deputy Chief Joseph Mabin, will begin his duties beginning April 23rd. He's a 22-year veteran of the Kansas City Police Department. He's held multiple leadership roles and currently leads the Investigations Bureau. As the search for Kansas City's new police chief begins, a coalition of local organizations wants to ensure the community's input is heard. That's why it's hosting a series of listening sessions to get your opinions. First one is Tuesday at the Northland Neighborhoods Incorporated. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. The coalition will then present its findings to the Board of Police Commissioners. Now, to find details on 5 other listening sessions that are planned, head to the web link section of our website, KSHB.com. You'll also find a link to a survey where you can fill it out if you're unable to attend a listening session. It's been 1 year since officers shot and killed Malcolm Johnson in Kansas City, Missouri, and the case is still under review. KSHB 41 News reporter Andres Gutierrez discovered what's slowing it down. From car sales to rising rent, inflation can be felt just about everywhere. But there are opportunities to negotiate prices down during this difficult time. And to help you with this all, reporter Alicia Smith spoke with a professional to get 5 tips on negotiating.
Whether you're shopping for a car.
That was Alicia Smith reporting, so I was listening carefully for all the tips. So now that you're here, let me practice what we have all heard. Okay. So, Wes, weather-wise, I like the sun. It's great.
I know, so do I. It's great.
But I want it to be warmer. So what do we need?
Well, I can make it warmer, but can you wait a day or two?
I don't know. Maybe a few hours.
It's going to be like 24 hours until it gets warmer. Like 48 hours, actually.
48 hours?
48 hours.
I don't like how this deal is going.
All right.
Well, I thought it was going to be 24 hours.
This deal. I'm leaving this deal because you're about to get what you're about to get, unfortunately, folks.